What?
Looks like it's decided.
No, it's not!
What? Decided. He's wrong, isn't he, Gonta? You remember the virtual world, don't you?
Someone had to be controlling him.
Going to not remember. Going to not even go to this virtual world place.
What?
Going to fall asleep when he put helmet on. When going to wake up, Mew dead. Going to not know what happened. So, going to worry. Going to not understand what everyone talking about.
No, it can't be.
But going to try his best to understand. Going to imagine real hard.
That's enough, Gonta. We already know.
No. He was in the world. Someone was controlling him.
Know what?
We know that you totally forgot about teaming up with me and killing Mew.
Shut your fucking mouth.
Wait a minute! That lie! Going to not kill Mew! Cause why would going to do that?
Yeah, it's a lie! I'll never accept this! And besides, Gota's got no motive to kill Mew!
I already gave you my testimony on how I came up with the murder plan.
And I'm saying I don't believe you!
Kokichi, if what you're saying is true, why did you plan it this way? You wanted to plan the murder yourself, but have someone else carry it out?
Is the person who planned it also included as a blackened with the perpetrator?
Nope! Only the person who actually commits the murder becomes the blackened!
You've already proven in this series that you don't do that. Don't go against it, just for this game.
Then there's no incentive to just plan the murder. But Gonta is such a gentle soul. Why would he agree to this?
Hold on! That hasn't been decided yet!
Who cares about the motive? Let's vote for the culprit already.
No.
I care about the motive.
Well, I don't care. Finding the culprit is more important in this class trial.
It's not.
Talking about the motive is meaningless. It's not necessary for this specific case.
No matter what you say, I'll never believe your lies.
We all agree that Gonta is the culprit, right? It would be impossible for anyone but him.
Impossible? Why?
It's pretty obvious if you use the process of elimination. Which means, Shuichi, you'll be my partner, right?
Me?
Because if you don't face the truth, then we'll all die, right? And you don't want that, do you? Okay, let's begin!
Quit screwing around! I'm done putting up with your selfish bullshit!
Kaito, we should listen to his explanation. Our lives depend on it.
So, we can now take Keyboy, Himiko, and Maki off the suspect list.
How?
Shuichi, would you care to explain? I doubt they'll believe it if it came from me.
The reason Kibo, Himiko, and Maki can be eliminated as suspects is because... I thought that whole thing about
Couldn't get to the crime scene, could they?
the wall and the path, meaning it could have been any of them. God damn it, I feel stupid.
The bridge from the chapel to the mansion was gone, and only Mew could pass through the wall. The three at the chapel had no way to get to the mansion, so they couldn't have done it. Kaito is the next one off our suspect list, and you know why, right?
The reason why Kaido isn't a suspect.
Kaito had logged out ahead of us.
Mew logged Kaito out from the start. But she did that to make us think the murder happened in the real world, right? Since we figured out the actual killing happened in the virtual world, it would have been impossible for Kaito, who had already logged out. Mew's time of death was around 6:30 in the morning. That's after Kaito logged out.
Kokichi's completely running the show now.
My synergy with Shuichi is super on point now, so let's move on to the remaining suspects. Gonta, Samugi, Shuichi, and me. Samugi and Shuichi can be crossed off. But what's the reason for that?
Tsumugi and I are witnesses to each other's alibis.
This is too open and shut. Like, this can't be. This just can't be.
Both of you heard Mew hitting the chapel wall, right? The culprit was definitely on the roof during that time, since they slid Mew down. Because of that, Shuichi and Samugi can't be the culprit. That leaves only Gonta and me as the remaining suspects.
Then you're the culprit!
Sorry for getting your hopes up, but didn't I already explain that's impossible?
If Mew touched him, he'd freeze in place. Kokichi wasn't capable of strangling her.
Please, God, no.
So then, it's down to one person. And who was that again?
Fucking no.
Well, who is it?
Don't answer, Shuichi! You don't need to answer that! This is all Kokichi's trap!
That was the sound of me just throwing my controller.
It's Gonta.
Shuichi?
Yep, Gonta is the only person who could have committed the murder. You get it now, right? That's the truth we were all reaching for. The thing you guys wanted so badly! A truth without any lies!
Tired of hearing your voice.
Iruma's killer.
Really? Did Gonta really do it?
Jeez, is that really your reaction? It would have been fun if you went all crazy. But you forgot everything, so oh well. A culprit who can't remember their murder is pretty interesting. So, better than nothing. If Gonta remembered, his cover would have been blown so fast. Especially since he's an idiot.
Hold on. I still haven't accepted this. This has gotta be Kokichi's trap. I still believe in Gonta. He's not the kind of person who'd kill.
Kaito.
I already said this a million times, Kaito. You shouldn't use emotions to
You want proof? I've got your proof. After Tsumugi and Shuichi heard Kibo's voice in the mansion, they ran outside. And who did they see out there?
I forgot about that.
Gonta.
Kokichi said it himself. When Miu's avatar crashed into the chapel wall, the culprit must have been on the roof.
I see. If Gonta's the culprit, it'd be weird if he wasn't on the roof.
It's possible that he fled the mansion after he heard the impact.
You'd have to go through the entrance hall to get outside the mansion from the roof. Is that where Shuichi and Tsumugi ran to when they heard the crashing sound?
Then maybe he jumped off the roof.
That's not possible. That rooftop was pretty high up.
Normally, Gonta could have done it, but his avatar wasn't strong enough. How about that? Now you get it, right? If Gonta was the culprit, there's no way he could have been outside the mansion.
Now you can't say Gonta's the culprit. Congrats, Gonta!
What? Really?
Please, can I lie? Can I lie again?
No, that's wrong.
What?
Just because Gonta was at the mansion doesn't mean that he isn't the culprit. All the culprit needed was a way to get from the roof to outside the mansion.
Huh?
Looks like Shuichi got it. I'll leave the rest to him.
Okay, you need to shut up right now.
Kaito, I know how you feel. I know because we all feel it. But we have to face the truth. No matter how cruel that truth may be, we need to face it to survive.
Whose side are you on, Shuichi?
Kaito, please.
I'm on the side of surviving.
Aren't you my sidekick? Was that just a lie?
Kaito!
Fine then! I'll tear that sorry reasoning of yours apart and wake you up!
I can't doubt my detective work now. If I want us all to survive, I can't back down. Oh, God. What are you What?
I'll never accept this! Don't you know Gonta at all? Not the kind of guy who'd kill someone. Don't you know that about him by now? I'll never accept this! Don't you know Gonta at all? He's not the kind of guy who'd kill someone. Damn it! Why won't you believe Gonta? Why are you listening to Kokichi? Aren't you my sidekick? Wake up, Shuichi! Why won't you believe Gonta? Why are you
God, I
listening
can't do
to
those
Kokichi?
holds.
Aren't you my sidekick? Wake up, Shuichi! Why won't you believe Gonta? Why, damn it! Who do you want to believe? Remember what Tokichi has done to us! Remember how Gonta's always tried to protect us! How could Gonta be the culprit? Still want to accuse him, huh? Saying the truth this, the truth that, but there's a reason Gonta's not the culprit! Who do you want to believe? Remember what Tokichi has done to us! Remember how Gonta's always tried to protect us! How could Gonta be the culprit? Still want to accuse him, huh? Saying the truth this, the truth that, but there's a reason Gonta's not the culprit! Who do you want to believe? Remember what Tokichi has done to us! Remember how Gonta's always tried to protect us! How could Gonta be the culprit? Still want to accuse him, huh? Saying the truth this, the truth that, but there's a reason Gonta's
God, I
not
suck
the
at
culprit.
this.
Who do you want to believe? Remember what Tokichi has done to us! Remember how Gonta's always tried to protect us! How could Gonta be the culprit? Damn it! There's no way to leave the mansion from the rooftop!
It ends here!
Damn it!
The toilet paper we found outside the mansion. That's what the culprit used to get from the roof to the ground.
The toilet paper?
The same toilet paper that was used as the murder weapon. That's why we didn't find it anywhere else. Not at the scene of the crime, nor on Mew's body. It was outside the mansion.
Hold on. If they use the toilet paper as a rope to get down from the roof, then they need to tie it to something. But there was nothing to tie it to.
Yes, there was.
I know because I investigated the roof.
You're stubborn, Kaito. You're still going on about this.
I told you to shut up.
Of course I am! I'm gonna believe in Gonta till the very end!
No, there was something that the toilet paper could have been tied to.
What?
There! The binoculars on the rooftop. The toilet paper could have been tied there. However, I don't think the culprit actually tied it down there. They just hung it. And then used the doubled-up toilet paper to climb down. But in that case, they would have had to tug on it in order to take it down.
Yep, that's correct. Because I came up with that idea. But I thought I told Gonta to put the toilet paper back in the bathroom. Oh, I guess he ran into someone on the way and then threw it somewhere close by. Looks like Kaito's morale is shot, so this whole thing is done now.
The matter does appear to be settled.
That... it's...
So, it's true. Going to really kill Mew.
But I'm the one who came up with the plan. Anyway, just admit your crime, Gonta. Even though you don't remember, you still did it.
But why did Gonta do such a terrible thing?
Wait, before you start crying, you gotta admit your crime first.
Stop! I won't let you, Kokichi. If anyone is gonna get him to confess, it's me. Gonta, I'm going to look back at the whole case one more time, okay? When you're convinced, you just let me know, all right? Let's end this together.
Okay.
I really hate this game sometimes. Sorry I'm not talking much, guys. I've got too many feels going on right now. Jesus. I think that was me. This is just a straight up test of memory. And I'm running out of time.
This is the truth of the case.
Wait a minute, but if Kaido was searching the roof...
The case began after being convinced by Mew. We all logged into the virtual world. To log in, you have to plug the memory and consciousness cords into the device. So, we all plugged those cords into our helmets and entered the virtual world. But the culprit had accidentally plugged their cords into the wrong ports. Because of this, a connection error occurred between the culprit's brain and their avatar. As a result, the culprit would forget everything that happened in the virtual world. It's possible that this had an effect on their avatar's personality as well. Because I can't believe that someone so kind could commit murder. But we had no idea this error even happened. And so, we all logged in one by one. Meanwhile, Mew was the last to log in. She had modified the killing game simulator so she could accomplish a specific goal. After Mew confirmed we were all logged in, she took out the bottle of poison and placed it on Kokichi's seat. This was done to make it look like Kokichi was killed by poison when we returned. Yes, the reason Mew modified the simulator and brought us to the virtual world was to kill Kokichi in the virtual world, but make it look like he had died in the real world. After we had all logged in, Mew explained the world to us. Use the salon phone to lock out. Objects are unbreakable. Your avatars use all 5 senses. She also explained the map of the virtual world in the mansion's entrance hall. But her explanation was intentionally false. She wanted us to misunderstand the world. However, one of us was able to see through her scheme. The very person Mew was trying to kill, Kokichi. Kokichi was going to use Mew's plan against her and plotted her murder. But Kokichi wouldn't do it himself. He used a patsy to be the culprit in this case. Kokichi was tight-lipped about the motive, so I don't know why the culprit agreed. But it seems as though right after logging in, when Kokichi and the culprit went outside, they were already working together to execute the murder.
So what, the blind and dumb avatar just did everything Kokichi said?
Eventually, we met up with Kokichi and crossed the river to the chapel. Mew had us split up to try to find some secret of the outside world. Kaito, Kokichi, Gonta, Tsumugi, and I investigated the mansion, while Maki, Himiko, Kibo, and Mew investigated the chapel. Splitting us up was also part of Mew's plan. At the chapel, Mew told Maki that she was going to look around outside. She chased after our group while we were heading toward the mansion. Once she made sure we were across, she dropped the bridge into the river. This was to trick us into thinking that the river separated the mansion and chapel.
Oops, my hand slipped.
At the time, we thought nothing of it. It was just another one of Mew's pranks.
Can I snicker any louder? It was so clear.
That's why we continued with the original plan to find the secret of the outside world. We went to the mansion and split up to look for clues. Kokichi searched the salon. Kaito searched the roof. Tsumugi searched the dining room. I searched the kitchen. And finally, the culprit searched outside the mansion.
Don't give him that wicked smile. If what you're saying is right, he had no fucking clue what he was doing. How dare you?
Around that time, Mew was headed for the wall that was on the side of the chapel. She passed through the wall and headed for the mansion to kill Kokichi. You see, the wall was a special wall that Mew had added herself. This wall was programmed so that only objects could pass through.
I mean, she planned it out pretty well.
And Mew had changed her avatar settings from human to object.
She really did.
That was the hidden route she prepared for herself. She set up a wall that only she could pass through. Mew headed toward the mansion, but she was seen by Tsumugi on the way. When she entered the mansion, she pulled out her cell phone. She didn't tell us that there was another way to log out. Then, she spoke a name into the phone, which it was Kaito who was on the roof at the time. The same roof where Kokichi and Mew were going to meet. By having Kaito search the roof and then forcing him to log out,
She framed him rather brilliantly, actually.
she was making him look the most suspicious. But her plan didn't go smoothly. Kokichi was waiting on the roof with a culprit and the toilet paper used to kill Mew. While Mew was distracted by Kokichi, the culprit snuck up from behind. And used the toilet paper from the mansion's bathroom to strangle Mew. This was only possible because objects in the virtual world are unbreakable. Mew's avatar was strangled to death, and the shock killed Mew in the real world. After the murder, Kokichi left the cleanup to the culprit and left the roof. He probably returned to the salon as soon as he could to avoid drawing suspicion. The culprit then took the lattice from the storage room and placed Mew's body on top along with the hammer and the cell phone.
Why would he do that? If what you're saying is true.
The lattice over the railing and forcefully slid it down the roof slope.
If what you're saying is true, why would he do that?
With a body on top of it, the lattice became a makeshift sled and flew off the roof. It went through the wall that only objects can pass through before crashing into the chapel.
Why would he act that way? Why would he act that way if he has no memory? What kind of subconscious hatred does he have?
That was the crashing sound that Kibo heard in the chapel and we heard in the mansion.
Or is he really just that susceptible to fucking Kokichi's manipulations?
Mew's wall hid the fact that the mansion and chapel were actually right next to each other. That's why Tsumugi and I were able to hear the crash from the mansion. As the final step, the culprit, because we were at the mansion, they couldn't take the stairs or they'd be seen.
I think we all have figured out how it ends at this point.
So they used the toilet paper again to escape from the rooftop.
Sorry if I skipped some lines of dialogue.
They hung the toilet paper from the binoculars on the roof and used it like a rope to climb down. Once the culprit was safely on the ground, they pulled at the toilet paper to retrieve it. They would have returned it to the bathroom, but they ran into us as we were leaving the mansion. In a panic, the culprit tossed the toilet paper somewhere nearby. Without that one little mistake, we might never have solved this case because the culprit doesn't remember.
I'm not gonna let this go. So because you say that, do you really need to put the ha next to him? Really? Are you somehow arguing that without his gentlemanly instincts, he's a complete killer? What are you saying, game? You make no sense.
This is the truth you've forgotten, Gonta Gokuhara, the ultimate entomologist.
This is fucking bullshit.